Hi everyone, it's Gary here from Echidna Sewing, and today I want to show you all the fantastic features on the new Euroflex Smooth B2S ironing system that we have available in Australia. It's an Italian-made product, and we're going to go through all the fantastic features now. First of all, when you open the box, you will get everything you need to get this guy going, including an instruction book. Yes, there is an instruction book. It doesn't teach you how to iron though, so remember that. You'll get a Teflon ironing shoe for your delicate fabrics. There's also the silicone rubber protective boot which goes on the bottom of the iron when you store it, and of course the filler bottle, which we'll show you a little later on. Naturally there'll be a power cable in there. The unit comes with the ironing board cover already in place, and once you pop this guy up, you're ready to go. Okay, first of all, let's take a look at the key functions on the unit itself. You've only got 3 buttons to worry about. You've got your on-off switch, which is right here. And I've got it off at the moment because I am going to put some water in it in just a moment. You've also got your 2 buttons here, one for setting the blower or vacuum system, which we'll talk about in a few moments, and the other one is to turn the vacuum or blower on either permanently or only when the unit is steaming. But right now I'm going to show you how to put water in the actual tank. The tank is held underneath, out of sight, underneath the ironing system. It's a stainless steel tank. The tank itself is also made in Italy, so it's a high quality boiler tank. And to put water in it, we just undo this little guy here. Now it's best to do this when the system is cool. If you do it when it's hot, you be very careful because this is under pressure. There will be steam will want to come out of this little guy. Now the bottle itself, generally, the recommendation is fill it with distilled water, or at least a mixture of distilled water and tap water. If you have tank water, that's fantastic. That's a great water to use. And depending on how hard the water is in your area, you may want to definitely mix it with some distilled water. Now, all I need to do, I've got this full of water. I just simply pop this in down here and push the bottle down, and that will let the water in. Now, I already have quite a bit of water in this system. It takes 800 ml, which is quite a lot, so I don't need to add any more. We'll just take that back up. And I'll just now put this guy back in position. Make sure you secure this nice and tightly. And we are now ready to turn this guy on. So I'm going to turn it on. It'll take a few moments to come to steam, but we just simply switch that button on. And now it will take about 4 or 5 minutes to get to full steam pressure. I'm going to leave that sit, and we'll show you what's next in just a moment. Okay, so while the Smooth B2S unit is coming to full steam, I'm going to show you a couple of the other accessory items. Firstly, the silicone rubber boot. This is really important. Now, if the iron is hot, you can simply pop it in here. You can't burn it. It's silicone rubber, but it becomes a lovely little sort of storage boot, and I can put the iron away now once I've finished ironing. You can touch the bottom of that. No matter how hot the iron is, that is not going to burn your hands. So that comes standard in the box. We'll take that back out again. And also standard in the box is the Teflon ironing shoe. And this is what you'd use on very delicate fabrics. And again, it just simply sits in here like that, like so. And you just pop that on there. And you can see that that holds the Teflon shoe. It's a high quality Teflon shoe, but definitely only something you need to use on delicate fabrics that you want to be really, really careful on. So take that out, and of course, as I mentioned, there is the instruction book that comes with it too, which explains all the features that we're going through now. So the ironing system has now come to full temperature and full steam pressure, and let's talk about the iron itself. It's a really comfortable commercial style of iron, and you'll notice that the sole plate only has a very small range of steam holes. If we get a bit of a close up here, this is really important. A lot of domestic irons have steam holes everywhere, and of course when you're steaming on a domestic iron, a standard iron, all you're doing is throwing cool water onto a hot plate essentially, and it turns into steam. This delivers steam under pressure, so the boiler that's underneath the unit is already at pressure. Now I'm going to show you something really cool. When I hit the steam button, have a look at how much pressure there is on that steam. So it's a lot. It's essentially a steaming device, which means other than using it on the ironing board, you can also use it to steam items. So if we wanted to just gently steam a piece of fabric, I'm taking out all the creases and wrinkles in this shirt by just simply using it as a steamer, and in fact that's done an amazingly good job. So that's one of the big advantages on this system. The steam is under pressure. And of course, when you're using it in conjunction with the table, which has both a blower and suction system, it just opens up lots of opportunities for getting the best pressing results you possibly can. So as I just mentioned, you've got a blower and a suction table attached to this unit. And what that means is that there is a fan underneath the table that can be turned either way to blow air up through the table or to suck the steam and the air through the table down to the bottom. So let's talk about the blower function first. Now what that means is if I turn the blower function on to permanently on, and you'll see now, we'll start blowing a pillow of air. So it's actually blowing from underneath and it's coming up and creating almost like an air pillow. You can see that there. Now why would you use this? Let me show you. In fact, I just had that shirt that we were steaming. It's got a print on there, like a plastisol print. Now if we can have a look at that, it's one of my favourite old shirts. It's a bit of an old timer, but it feels like plastic, and you've all got t-shirts and things like this at home. Now the last thing you ever want to do with this is hit it with a hot iron, and so we tend to iron it inside out or back to front. What we can do with the steam function now is with this blower, I can actually just gently run my iron across the top of the shirt. The blower is actually pushing the shirt just gently onto the heated surface of the iron. The steam is coming through and it's giving me this wonderfully simple steamed pressed effect. The blower function also means you can take other difficult items that typically are a problem when you're pressing. For example, men's slacks are commonly a problem, especially around the pocket. So as you know, you've got your pocket sitting under here, and if you were to press this normally, you often get that sort of mark that is left by the hot iron and the pocket lining. What we do here is with the blower table in place, I can now just simply steam across the top of this, and it does take out any of the creases that are there without me putting any pressure and getting that scored effect, if you like, on the garment. And some fabrics can be a lot worse than others. So the blower table has a multitude of uses. Anything delicate, satins and silks and velours and things that you don't want to get any pressing marks on, the blower table is perfect because it really is like pressing on a cushion of air. Okay, so now we're going to turn the blower table off and we're going to turn the suction table on. It is just one click of the button, and now the cushion will die down and the table will begin to act as a vacuum table. And here we go. So we've turned it on, you'll hear it in a moment, it'll start the vacuum. And notice we have no cushion now, but where this is particularly good is fabrics that tend to be slippery and difficult to hold in place. And shirts are a good example. So by me simply popping the shirt in place, you'll notice that the table is holding it there. I could actually virtually pull on this and it's not going to move because the vacuum of the table is holding it well in place. Now, another important thing about the iron. The iron is set at 140 degrees Celsius. There is no control dial. That's the optimum pressing temperature. It means that the iron won't vary up and down like many typical home irons, and you won't ever get to a situation where you've scored or burnt or really made a mess of your fabric, because it's the optimal ironing temperature. Now, when using this iron, the secret is to lead with the steam, or lead with the steam and follow with the heat. So you can see here, the steam is at the front, I'm leading with the steam, following with the heat, it glides along beautifully, and because the shirt or whatever item you're ironing isn't going to move, because the vacuum is holding it in place, it just makes ironing so much easier. I'm going to be the first to admit I'm not the best at ironing, but this table does make it a whole lot easier for anyone, really. And for those who are crafting, if you're doing quilt fabrics or blocks, or you're bringing some embroidery back to life, the dry steam that you get out of this, because it is dry steam, because we've got the heated table and the vacuum and the blower function, it just brings your fabric back to life. It's an amazing thing to watch. You'll get the best pressing results you possibly can. Okay, so look, this is an amazing product. As I mentioned before, it's made in Italy, it's very high quality. It does have a 2-year warranty, and it is very functional and serviceable. So in fact, if ever the boiler itself needs servicing, it can be completely removed from the table and sent back for servicing. The last thing to show you right now is just how easy it is to put away and how space saving it is too. It's quite lightweight, so you won't have any trouble dealing with it in your sewing room or if you have to put it away in a cupboard somewhere. First thing you would need to do, we'll switch the unit off, so we just simply turn that off there, and I'm going to disconnect the power, and I'll grab that again in a minute. I am now going to take the little cable holder. Now what I do is I pop that in under here just to keep it out of harm's way, and it means that I don't lose it. So when I'm putting this away, that's going to be nicely positioned in a safe place. On the end of the unit there is a little plug which we just pull the iron out. Now I mentioned before we have the little silicone rubber ironing boot, so we just, or iron boot, we just pop that in there. And now that is nice and safe. You can touch it, nothing's going to happen. You can store that away quite easily. Now, I'm just going to pop that over here for a minute. So let's look at how this unit goes down into place. We just lock that into position up there, and there's a little tiny handle under the unit here, which you'll easily find when you have it. And we'll just lower this all the way down. It's now on the ground, and to put it away, we just lift this bit up. It's nice and light. It's on wheels, and I can wheel that around anywhere I like now. But look at this, very slim, and it will stand up in a cupboard. So it's quite compact. Now, of course, to get it back out and set it up again, it is just a matter of taking it to where you want it, opening it up, and I just simply fold it and put it down like that. I'll just wheel this back into the position I need it, and you're up and ready to go. Again, I did mention before it is height adjustable, so if you'd like it to be a little bit higher, you just simply lift it to the height you want. That's all there is to it. Beautiful product, fantastic for the craft room, fantastic for anyone who does seriously a lot of ironing, and every home should have one. So I hope you enjoyed that. Cheers.